Thank you, Diana Marianne. Welcome to the First Parish in Framingham. We are a welcoming congregation. So whoever you are, whoever you love, wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. We welcome you here in the meeting house, on YouTube, on Zoom, wherever and whenever you may be watching this service in the future. I'm Rupal Bhatt. I use she, her pronouns, and I am your worship associate this morning. Be sure to read the announcements in the order of service. There are many activities happening after worship. Immediately following worship, you're invited to join us for coffee hour in Scott Hall, just across the courtyard. Please take a moment now to turn off your phones or other devices to their quietest settings. While beeps and buzzes can be distracting, we welcome your human noises, especially the sound of your singing and your laughter, so please join in. Since 1701, people have gathered as this community to rest or recharge, to be challenged or affirmed. Those people are like you. You belong here, maybe only for the next hour, but we hope for longer. We are happy to have you with us. I now invite you to take a comfortable breath in and out. Continue to take a few more breaths and to begin to release whatever you need to let go of, to be more fully present to yourself, one another, and the sacred in this time and place. A flame within a chalice is a primary symbol of the Unitarian-Universalist faith tradition. To symbolize the light of reason, the warmth of community, and the flame of hope, it is our tradition to begin our worship by kindling the flame of our chalice. We light this chalice, our welcome to share, and our communion to declare. May this flame shine bright and afar as our community's lodestar. All are welcome from everywhere. Please rise and body your spirit to our opening hymn 1010, "Oh, We Give Thanks." For this precious day, for another here, another far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. For this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Please remain standing to sing our song of affirmation and remain standing for our spoken affirmation. That dwell below the skies, let songs of hope and faith arise. Let peace goodwill on earth be sung, through every land, by every tongue. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve all life with compassion, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. This is our great covenant,
one with another and with our God. be seated. I am the Reverend Aaron Stockwell Wisman, your senior minister. I use he, him pronouns. This is the time in our service that we share the things which weigh deepest on our hearts, our milestones, our happy and our sad occasions. We share them because we know that joy shared is joy expanded, and sorrow shared can feel as though someone is lifting a burden. You can submit your joys or sorrows either online or writing them in the book that is normally at the back of our sanctuary. We intersperse into our sharing the song, "There is a Love." We do so that our joys and sorrows can be held in song, but also so that you might have a song in your back pocket to sing when you need to be centered. I begin with the sorrows of our community. Marianne and Daryl share this sorrow: the passing of Marie Basili, our dear friend, surrogate Italian mother, and champion of women's reproductive rights, who died after a long illness. She was 99. Michael Packard shares this sorrow: concern for my stepmother who is undergoing therapy for macular degeneration. Let us now hold these songs in prayer, these sorrows in prayer, as we sing our song, "There is a Love." There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. And these are the joys of our gathered community. Vicki Carrion shares this kind of joy. I was happy to attend the town hall yesterday with Senator Elizabeth Warren. I remained concerned for our country and hope other elected officials are as vocal as she is. Kevin Stern shares this joy: glad to be back in the meeting house after 2 weeks on Zoom. Me too, Kevin, me too. Let us now sing "There is a Love Holding Us." There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love. And we light one final candle for all of the joys and all of the sorrows, too great to share, but still weigh heavily on our hearts. Let us now enter into our time for contemplation, centering ourselves in the ways that we know best, feeling the support of a pew beneath us, or feeling the support of our gathered community around us. O Spirit of life and love, named and unnamed, but who knows us each by our true first name, which is beloved, we give thanks for this day, for all gathered here and those far away, for the people sitting to our left and our right, for the roof above us and the sheltering walls around us. We know that it did not have to be this way. We know too that in our community there is sorrow and fear and anxiety. May we lift up the memory of all those who have died. May we comfort those who remember them. We know too that illness is in our community. People struggle with all sorts of things. Let us lend a listening ear and a helping hand. We know too that our world is so beautiful and there is also brokenness. Let us work to bend the arc of the universe towards justice, comforting and strengthening all those who fear, siding with love every chance we get. From time to time, we slip up and trip up, we make mistakes, we hurt people unintentionally. We put distance between ourselves, others, and perhaps the divine. We are loved and lovable, not in spite of these imperfections, but because of them. And because we are still breathing, there is chance to move back into right relationship, to move into a closer relationship. I say these words and do all things for love's sake. And now, in the midst of a busy week, your only job for the next minute is to do absolutely nothing, to sit in the quiet of this space, to rest, pray the prayers of your own hearts, or to listen. May this silence that we have kept here be something that we can return to at any point in the rest of the week when we need it most.
So now is the time for the offertory. Each time this week, it's an opportunity for us to recommit to First Parish. My family and I come to First Parish because First Parish has been welcoming to us. We have a special needs son. Sometimes he's quite entertaining here. My wife and I chose to come here 17 years ago because we have differences in what we believe in terms of faith or lack of faith. But all are welcomed here. And it is important to me to continue to give to First Parish because I want there to be a future for our son, for him to have a place that is welcoming to him, with his differences, with his expansive way in looking at the world and how things work, and just his love for everything that is soft and cuddly. And your contributions are a tangible commitment to the mission and the vision of this congregation and our liberal religion. If you are here for the first time, you can let the offertory pass you by, and if you already gave during the family service, the offertory shall be received. Thank you, choir. This is Saving Our Lives by Roberta Finkelstein. My story is a story of what happens when we are at our best, not necessarily how we are every minute of every day. But every minute of every day is not a life-saving minute. All I know is that at those times when one of us needs a lifeline, the rest of us are ready to offer it. We may be clumsy, we may miss the mark the first time we throw it, but we will keep trying. And we will gather more people around to help us rather than trying to do it alone. And in the end, we will fulfill our primary function, and we will save each other's lives over and over again. The church saved my life. That's how I learned the real reason why the church exists. That's why I'm a minister. Sometimes that gets lost in all the other things that the church does in the meantime, in between life-saving exercises. But all of what we do is in service of readying ourselves for the next life-saving exercise. We have potluck dinners and salad Sundays and other chances to get together in fellowship, and we have fun and enjoy each other. The board makes policy decisions and keeps an eye on the budget. The council coordinates the yearly calendar. We plan worship services and adult education programs and musical events. We orient and welcome new members. We teach our children. We do all of these things day in and day out. And then somebody gets sick or loses their job or finds themselves mourning the death of a loved one. And then, no matter what we were busy doing, we remember that the purpose of this church is to save each other's lives. And we do just that over and over again. I am eternally grateful to have been the beneficiary of the Unitarian-Universalist life-saving operation when I most needed it. In those difficult days, my life was saved and the seeds of my ministry were sown. Out of gratitude, I intend to remain a faithful part of the Unitarian-Universalist life-saving operation for as long as I am able. I hope that you will be there as well. Please remain seated for hymn 123, Spirit of Life.
I love looking out at you when you sing that hymn and knowing that some of you have that song imprinted on your hearts. It is wonderful. So you are all ushers, you are all greeters, and you, yes, I'm talking about you, are all on the membership committee. Welcome to your first meeting. On today's agenda, there are two very simple things. How could we be welcoming? And how could we better talk about our religious tradition? If this is your first time or your second time joining us, don't worry. I soon joined the membership committee of my church right after I joined our church, so you are all welcome. We each have a responsibility to talk about our faith tradition and to be welcoming. It seems to me that in our tradition, we have left the evangelical function, so to speak, to the minister, to the membership coordinator, and if a congregation has it, the membership committee or team, or we just cross our fingers and we hope that it happens. We revel in being the best kept secret. But we are needed. We are life-saving. Now, if you just bristled at the fact that I told you that we all need to be evangelical, I understand. It can be uncomfortable talking about our faith. We each have experiences that were awkward at best and awful at worst about somebody sharing about their faith, and we were made to feel less than whole. But what we offer, friends, is something different. We say no, all are welcome, all are celebrated, and all of us, yes, you are beloved. No matter where you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. We say that every Sunday, don't we? We offer an alternative to the world, a vision perhaps of the world as it should be. A colleague of mine whose name I didn't write down, and it isn't me, I sometimes do that, but I don't know who said this, recently remarked, "The numbers that stick in my head is that 85% of all people in the United States of America attend church for the first time because somebody they know tells them about it." 85%. And the other statistic is that the average Unitarian-Universalist, I don't know who that is, but the average Unitarian-Universalist invites someone to church every 26 years. Forget about marketing. Let's better equip our people to talk with the people they already know, invite them to church, and be ready to be hospitable when those visitors arrive. So we laughed, right? When I said every 26 years. But who needed the message of our faith that didn't know we existed? Who didn't hear it? So perhaps we need to be better about talking about our faith tradition. While yes, a logo or a pithy slogan or mission statement, that might help, it is not the complete picture. My friends, when someone asks you, "Oh, you go to church?" Not what I expected. Tell me, what's it like? What do you say? The time to share our faith is now, our religious tradition. 24 years ago, around the time all of you invited someone to church the last time, the president of our denomination asked us to create elevator speeches, 60-second speeches, to talk about our faith. And I still think that this is a valuable exercise. My colleague, the Reverend Johnalou Johnstone, her elevator speech went like this. In our congregations, we gather in community to support our individual spiritual journeys. We trust that openness to one another's experiences will enhance our understanding of our own links with the divine, with our history, and with one another. Another colleague of mine, the Reverend Denise Colley, shared, "For UU's inclusion is the greatest good and exclusion the greatest sin." She also said, "We are a faith that is more concerned about the how of faith than the what of faith. What we believe in matters so far as we hold our beliefs with integrity, question ourselves and our answers, challenge ourselves to grow, and live into our faith and values alongside one another in community. Across our different beliefs, we focus on how we can be a people of faith together." Now, I realize those are pretty long still, but a good starting point. We are each in charge of sharing our religious tradition. I say we do not want to save you for the afterlife. We want to save your life right now. We love the hell out of this world, the hells that we might be living in now, and we will do what we can to bring all of us into beloved community together. Now, sometimes we need to do some work right here. Once someone comes into our space, once a newcomer has built up the courage, how are we welcoming when someone enters our doors? Being welcoming has so many different dimensions, and I only want to talk about a few today. I wonder if you have ever had that experience of trying to fit in and just not finding the right way. An early experience of expressing yourself and someone told you that you did not fit in. They said, unintentionally perhaps, please conform to the ways that we have already. I remember in kindergarten, we had to color in these characters that represented all of the letters of the alphabet. The men were consonants for some reason, and the women were vowels for some reason. And for 25 of those letters, I colored dutifully in the lines until we got to the letter W. For some reason, Mr. W on that worksheet had very large eyelashes, which in my mind, it went to obviously when he blinks, he creates a lot of friction with those eyes. That's the right place to go, right? So 6-year-old me knew that friction created fire. So I scribbled on the page with my orange markers, my yellow markers, and my red markers, because I thought that if he blinked too much, his eyes would catch on fire. Makes sense, right? Despite coloring in the lines of every letter before and after W, the teacher took me aside and asked me, please color the sheet in again, this time in the lines. I remember being so frustrated. Hot tears welling up in my eyes. They clearly didn't get my vision. I learned to color in the lines and that sometimes my creative thinking was not welcomed. Lauren, our director of religious exploration, asked 3 of our young adults who grew up in this church how we might be more welcoming. These young adults are the product of our religious exploration program. So after the age of 18, they are our children, in some cases, literally. This is a generation that embraces and lives with a lot of neurodiversity. The word neurodiversity refers to the diversity of all people, but is often used in the context of autism spectrum disorder, as well as other neurological or developmental conditions such as ADHD or other learning disabilities. That definition coming from the Harvard Medical School. And our children feel like there is a lot of work that we could do. They generally said that sitting for too long is not for them, and they like it if they could get up and move around, and it'd be okay if they did that. They say that small group discussions would be better for them. Welcoming knitting or doodling or fidgeting or coloring in a coloring book. Sometimes they might be wearing noise-canceling headphones to help them focus better. They might be checking on the internet or chatting with friends on their phone about something relevant to the service, or sometimes taking notes on their phone. And they'd like it if we didn't look at them strangely for doing that. Maybe we could learn something from them. Welcoming younger children can feel challenging as well, but it is worth it. The first impressions parents and children get can be powerful. I have heard from so many parents in many churches an experience of one person usually helpfully noting, we have a nursery for your child. The speaker often meaning it to be helpful, but the receiver of this message often hears this as, you and your child are too noisy. That's why we have designed in our experimenting with a shorter service completely designed for children and families with children. Now, the things that improve worship life for one generation also improve worship life for another generation. All generations benefit when we have large print hymnals or orders of service and assisted listening devices. We also, fun fact here, we print the order of service for the family service in a typeface that is designed to be read by people who have dyslexia. It's designed to be more helpful and readable for them. It's wonderful also that we live stream our services. Hello, if you're watching us from afar. At a congregation I once served, we had 2 rocking chairs that were at the very back of the sanctuary. Now, sometimes longer-term members sat in those seats. Those cushions were the most comfortable seats in the entire house. Other times, members with children would sit with their children there. And other times, there were folks who were in the middle who liked to rock and knit during the service. But then one time, a parent with small children told me that it was very annoying to them that the longer-term members were sitting in those rocking chairs, telling me these rocking chairs are meant for families with young children, and asked if I could please tell that anyone without children not to sit there. And I paused for a moment and said, no, I am not going to do that. I trust that people sit where they need to sit. So my solution was I went on Craigslist and I bought 4 more rocking chairs. Surreptitiously, didn't ask anyone, and just put them in the back of the sanctuary. Now, the pandemic shut the church down 2 weeks after I did that. And I left that church to serve here, so I have no idea how any of it played out. But I wonder how a space might not be welcoming to all bodies. What would just 1 row of rocking chairs somewhere in this space do? Just 1 row. What might we have to change? The list would probably be long. But what would we gain? The list is probably longer. Space to play, comfortable seats. What would that presence say about us? You see, friends, our church has a tremendous responsibility. I was reminded of this when a colleague shared the sermon that our minister emeritus, the Reverend Dr. Patrick O'Neill, who died last week, the sermon that he preached at the 2005 Service of the Living Tradition. Patrick wrote these words: "What the Free Church lends both constant power and constant challenge, of course, is its unique placement as that city on the hill that is always both part of society and profit to society. It has been the nature of our church and its ministry from time immemorial, always to wrestle with a kind of frenetic tendency to shift back and forth between full-blown retreat from the world on the one hand, offering itself as sanctuary and refuge from the world, and on the other hand, full-blown engagement and confrontation with the world on the other hand. The church as the comforter of our afflictions, haven in our struggles on the one hand, the church as afflictor of our comfort and poker at our conscience, the church as righteous prophet, demanding our efforts to mend what is broken in the world, to heal what is wounded in our communities, and to hold gently the sorrows, and to address lovingly the pain of those perennially left out on the margins of society, the hopeless and the helpless, the war-torn and the hungry, and the infected of the world. My friends gathered here, we have room to be more welcoming. But all this does is it builds a longer and a broader table for all to feel more welcomed and included in our community. In that same sermon that Patrick preached in 2005, he also said this: "These are the days that have our names written upon them." These are the days that have our names written upon them. It is time for us to speak about our religious tradition. Our tradition is saving you in this life, in this world, not for something later. May it be so, and amen. So now let us rise in body or spirit, both work fine, to sing our closing hymn. It's number 298, "Wake Now My Senses." And so as we leave this friendly place, I send you forth with these words of benediction. As we leave this friendly place, let us take the light of love out into the world and use it to brighten our pathways. And when we need to rest or recharge, be challenged or affirmed, may that light guide us safely. May we hold the light always, and the light hold us always. Amen, and go in peace.